Hello friends, I am Saket Pansar. I am a lead trainer at iZenBridge Consultancy Private Limited, and in this video we are talking about PMI audit process. Now PMI audit process is more or less same for PMP certification as well as for PMI-ACP certification. Now this video will tell you that what all you can expect when your application gets selected for the audit. A lot of people wonder that is the selection for an audit mean something? Does it mean that PMI is suspecting about our application? The answer is no. The selection for audit is a very random process. Out of 100 applications, randomly PMI select nearby 5% or some small percentage of application for audit. So if you are getting selected for the audit for your application, you should not think that there is something which is wrong in my application. Now, a lot of people wonder when they are filling their application form that can they do something to avoid the audit. I keep getting queries that do they need to write the project description in a particular way which can avoid the possibility of selecting for the audit. The answer is no. You need to write your application well, you need to represent your experience well, but it does not impact a selection or for an audit. Now the third point which I keep getting from various test takers is that when they get selected for the audit, does PMI going to re-verify their application? Are they going to recheck the description which you have filled in your application form? The answer is no. Once you submit your application, PMI takes 5 days in case of PMP and 10 days in case of PMI-ACP to review and approve your application. And while reviewing and approving your application, they have already gone through about your eligibility for a given certificate. And once they are okay with it, then only they are asking you to pay the examination fee. So your application verification is already done. Now what is left is that you need to show, you need to substantiate whatever you have mentioned in your application that all those informations are true. So you don't have to look any information which is beyond your application. Now the next question is, when does this audit happen? When can I came to know that my application has been selected for the audit? Now the process follows like this. The first step is you fill your application form. You provide all educational details, all the experience details which makes you eligible for the given exam. You submit the application. PMI takes 5 to 10 days. 5 in case of PMP, 10 in case of PMI-ACP to review and approve your application. After review and approval is done, you get an email. You get an email from PMI asking you to make the payment. Now, the second step, first you applied for the given certification. Now, second step which you need to take is make the payment. After you make the payment, at this particular point of time, randomly some applications get selected for the audit. So after making the payment, you can expect 2 types of email from PMI. One email mentioning that this is your eligibility ID. Go and schedule your exam to a given list of prometric. If you get that email, you can safely assume that you are done with the audit selection process. Now you can directly go ahead and give the exam. The second flow is that PMI selects your application for an audit. In that particular case, you get an email coming up with the details that your application has been selected for the audit and you need to follow a given process and send the evidences of your experience and educational details to the PMI. What do you do when you get an audit email? Now you don't have to worry about anything. You just need to collect some of the evidence as per the given email. Usually PMI asks for a documentary evidence showing your educational detail, your contact hours certificate and an experience certificate along with the signature of your reporting manager. So you don't have to get any certificate from your organization. The email itself will give you a PDF file which would be having all the details which you have mentioned in the while filling an application. So the details are already filled in. What you need to do is, whoever you have mentioned as your primary stakeholder or a reporting manager or person who is involved or who was involved when you were doing that particular activity, you need to get a signature from that particular person on that particular application. So PMI sends you the form, you get the signature from your reporting manager or a primary stakeholder which you have mentioned in your while you are filling an application, and you are done with it. So you collect all these documents, a photocopy of your educational certificate, photocopy of or a Xerox copy of your 35 contact hours or 21 contact hours for PMI-ACP certificate, and a signature from your reporting manager. After that, you need to make a packet on an experience envelope. You also need to take a signature after closing an envelope from your reporting manager or from your primary stakeholder. Make a final packet and ship it or send via postal mail to the PMI office. Which address? Your application, the audit email would be having the detail of the address where you need to send the packet. Now this is the most critical part. When you send the postal packet, you need to make sure that it reaches to a PMI as per your expectation or as per your timeline for your exam. PMI gives you nearby 90 days to complete this particular audit process. But till the time you are not done with this application process, you cannot schedule your exam. So make sure that you select the right service provider for your packet delivery. Usually, like I have seen many times in India, that is the part which takes the most number of days in the complete audit process. After receiving your packet, PMI usually clears your application within 5 to 6 days. In most of the cases I have seen, within 2 days we got the confirmation email that yes, you can go ahead and schedule your exam. So in general, don't worry a lot about audit process. Stay relaxed. But yes, while filling your application form, make sure that you mention a reporting manager or a name of your primary stakeholder carefully. If the person is not in reach, say for example he's staying in another country, don't mention his name, because you need a physical signature of that particular individual if you get selected for the audit. That is the only thing which you need to be careful about. The next care you can take about is try to keep your details to bare minimum. So for example, if PMI is asking for 35 contact hours, don't write 60-70 contact hour certificate in your application form. Because if you get selected for the audit, then you need to substantiate all those documents. You need to send all those certificates photocopy. So do as much needed. So 35 contact hours, experience project also as bare minimum, which makes you eligible for a PMP certification should be taken in your application, because again you need to get a signature from each and every reporting manager. If you mention many projects, your work would be too much while you are preparing for audit. In high probability you will not get selected for the audit, but yes, you need to plan for the worst. So this care you should keep in mind. Here are my contact details. You can reach me if you have any query related to PMP process. We also have a forum, a very active forum for PMP and PMI ACP certification. Be part of us and let me know if I can help you in any way.